So 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with brain cancer. I had a tumor half the size of an egg, woke up on a Monday morning at work, I had had a seizure, ended up in an ER with my wife, and a day later I was having brain surgery on my wife's birthday. And then 2 years later it came back, and I started a year of chemotherapy and then 30 days straight of radiation.
So Paul and I both went to a Bible college in Dallas, and he was from the Los Angeles area and I was from West Texas. And basically we were in a class together, lots of classes together, and we became best friends and studied together and hung out. It was in 2013, and he and we had Cece and Jude. It was kind of our first year as adults. We had vacations planned and kind of our life planned, and then out of the blue I got a phone call that he had just had a seizure from one of our good friends that he was with, and at first I thought it was a joke, and realized he wasn't joking. So I raced to where he was with our friend, and the ambulance was there, and he was just kind of coming out of a seizure. And so people were very confused when they're first coming out of the seizures, or out of a seizure, and he was kind of in that state of confusion. Got to the hospital, and one of the workups for new onset seizures is doing imaging of the brain, and so he got taken away to CT, and since I worked there, I was back in the room looking at his images, and I saw as it scanned through his brain, and he was diagnosed with oligodendroglioma. So it is a brain cancer. If you're going to have a brain cancer, it's one of the better ones to have because it's slow growing and the prognosis is fairly decent. And then in 2017, he did a year of chemo. And that's really when I feel like he got into fly fishing as a guide, because that's whenever he would hang out at Real Fly and hang out with Brent. And Brent was kind enough to let Paul learn how to row, and I'm pretty sure his second guiding trip ever, like rowing, was on the Devil's River while he was on chemo. And I think ever since then, it was always something that kind of gave him, I don't know if it was peace or strength or hope, but he really just, I think just being out on the water kind of made him forget about everything else. And ever since then, it's just been like, it's his mistress. I'm competing for his attention with fishing.
Fly fishing has a special thing about it where it was something that I really could do without thinking, because the cancer really got in my head. And so I kept thinking, I'm gonna die, my family, this and that. But when I would fly fish, I would forget everything. Fishing is special because of that very thing. It's one of those few things that connects you with your friends, with community, with nature, and it also has this spiritual ability to help you forget everything, and you no longer think, but you're just in the moment. Lastly, once I'm in the water and stepping into the ecosystem, the community of the water, and I pick up my fly rod and I'm fishing, suddenly everything fades away and I'm in the moment. And it was the first thing that would completely, I'd forget everything. All my stress, anxiety, fears, loneliness, everything would go away, and I would be completely in the moment. And then it was like waking up from a dream when I would finish fishing. I'm like, oh yeah, back to reality. I kept wanting to do that every day. In fact, my wife was letting me do it because I thought I was gonna die. And through that is what led in, I think, even maybe to me getting better, at least emotionally, because I did a program called Real Recovery, and in that program, there was a whole scene of fly fishermen that were experiencing the same thing as me. And through that process, it kind of freed me up from some of the tough stuff about cancer. So, you know, I was able to talk with other friends, we got on the water, and before you know it, I felt like I was recovering and I could be normal, feel normal again, kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Paul, one of the first places I ever came fishing out here in Texas Hill Country was on Canyon Lake. It's one of my favorite lakes, very beautiful lake. We are out there constantly chasing the striped bass, which is so much fun. It's one of my favorite things to do is just go out super early morning with Paul and try and find the stripers. Sometimes you find them, sometimes you don't. Either way, it's a great day out on the water. And then the other area we fish a lot is right below Canyon Lake. Feeds out of the dam is the Guadalupe River, is where all of our little circle of friends and guides, that's where we fish, that's where we work. Same thing as Canyon Lake, just a beautiful area. The river's beautiful, clean, clear water, cold, and trout. So, you know, we have a great fishery here, most southern trout fishery in Texas that we're blessed to have here. And, you know, we take advantage of our resources and it's a great time. Wimberley is just a very relaxed community, which is kind of what Paul's shop is in a sense. It's very relaxed, very welcoming. And I know Paul's a very welcoming person. I can't tell you how many people come into the shop and talk about wanting just a small percentage of Paul's positivity and openness. So yeah, I think it fits in great here in Wimberley.
I decided to start the Grateful Angler for two things. Number one, I'm grateful to be alive. And number two, I love the Grateful Dead, which connects all things fly fishing, community, family. And because of that, I've been afforded this opportunity to do this in this beautiful town. It's the people's shop. Anyone can come in and have a good time. Anyone can, this is for everyone. So yeah. The vibe is hopefully fun. One of my friends gave me the idea. He said, dude, you're the Grateful Angler. Because, you know, I always tell, it's hard not to not only have fun, but to talk about things bigger than yourself when you're fly fishing, or, you know, things that you love. And I love, I guess, an easy way to say it is I love being outside. I love my family. I love God. I love the Grateful Dead. And so, yeah. What was the question?